this is probably the first time we're seeing the military or the Chief of Defense Forces being called out on such matters. Arnold.
I think there has been a little bit of mismanagement of our security agencies. That should be Article 239 agencies, the three of them. They are making news not in the very conventional way, at least for the police. Since it's a civilian-facing entity, you would expect that the complaints that are traditional with them run the course they do. But for the military and the National Intelligence Service, it's a little bit worrying. But be that as it may, there are a few questions that, of course, I've looked at the MP for Dagoretti South speaking in there. And ordinarily, you would actually want to treat that as politics. But tragically, and so sad, that man looks like he believes the words he's actually saying. It's been over 10 months. The leadership of Parliament, for example, has not even done an inquiry into this particular issue. It's been set aside. Even within the police, they have got the Internal Affairs Unit. There's been no report on that. IPOA, of course, they've been dragging their feet. And now, all of a sudden, they are responding to this. But then if you look at the response by KDF, both to BBC and to the local media once the story came out, KDF, actually, the corporate communication refers the media. They say that IPOA has not spoken to them. If you look at that KDF communication, they assume that Kenyans are headless. We do not understand anything, that this country is full of fools. Because we know the mandate of IPOA. IPOA has, IPOA wouldn't write to KDF. So KDF gets into politicking and giving an answers and treating this case so casually that IPOA has not spoken to them. When you know too well that IPOA has established cannot reach out to KDF, what would they be doing? What would they be telling them? So there is no framework for IPOA to even reach out to KDF. But if you looked at that report, it's worrying for one thing, that KDF was already deployed in Parliament before the announcement that they would, there was a Gazette notice, and of course they would want to actually brush that aside as an operational issue. But if that documentary is to be believed, they already were deployed. They had men on the ground way before, because we're talking about 220. At that particular point, the declaration on them being involved and officially being let out, it was so many hours way before. But by 220, on 25th June, they already had men and boots on the ground. The authorities need to treat this issue differently, because what entirely they are doing is to actually just tell us that this doesn't matter. And you also really look at the leadership and the few people we have as a people with acute split character, in that the same people who are complaining about the police killings in Kilgore in the last few days are actually justifying the killings that happened in Parliament. So we have not treated this issue seriously, not just justice to the people that were killed and those that were injured, but we also are setting a very wrong precedent.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basil, the issue is that even as a nation,